Like he has his
Man,
hands now.
I have to get back into Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, wasn't that in beta?
It's coming to 1.0, and it's going to be coming for console.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
You know something it has over Helldivers?
Not Sony.
Yeah. It's
Is it?
amazing how powerful that is.
Yeah, Sony's making some weird decisions. They're still trying to like grip on the market. It's dumb.
Yeah, and there was also a 632 million pound lawsuit against Valve over in the EU. And the funny part is, the person who launched the lawsuit is part of a rights group, like a individual rights group. So it's going to go nowhere, which is even better. And their complaint is, oh, Valve takes 30%. Yeah, if you sell exclusively on Valve, but if you generate the Steam keys and sell them on Humble Bundle or itch.io, they don't take the money. They don't take 30%. And it's also worldwide distribution.
Yeah, Pirate Software covered that.
Yep.
Not too long ago. I remember watching that, and I was like, "That's really interesting." It makes me
Yeah,
much
and
more likely to release on Steam because they're like, "Yeah, you can sell on our platform, but check this out. You can sell on other platforms
they
too."
also have a $100 bet with you.
$100 bet.
Yeah. So when you sign up for a dev account and you release your game, you are billed $100 ish. You get it back if you make $1,000 in sales. It's a bet, essentially. They're betting you $100 that your game will sell more than 1,000 copies, or 1,000. You'll do more than $1,000 in sales. Once you hit that mark, you get your $100 back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's basically, that might sound like, oh, you're just taking their money and holding it ransom. No, they're saying, I bet you can make a good product that'll sell. I bet you can make a good product that's going to sell. That's all it is, because you get your money back.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to me.
Yep. And the funny part that people forget when they all have all this bitching about freaking Valve taking 30%, if I buy a key off of Humble Bundle, Valve is on the hook for the bandwidth.
Oh, yeah.
For me to download that game. Not Humble Bundle. Someone's got to pay for shit.
I have waffle fries.
Ooh.
Hopefully not from Chick-fil-A.
Nope.
Looking good.
Fresh out the air fryer with some cheese. There's some fish sticks. I haven't had fish sticks in a minute.
Oh, man, fish sticks.
Do you put them in your mouth?
Here, let me help you. Oh.
Love the South Park reference.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
that's all right. I'm going to include that last bit that you just talked about in the intro here. So, welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming-related topics that offer both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm Luminari, and I'm accompanied today by my co-hosts, the Nordic Cajun.
We'll bring in sexy. Wait, that's next episode.
Yep. Next episode. Right now, it's just fish sticks.
Yes, and
Yes.
waffle fries.
The Eternal Barcode, I me.
Howdy. I am on the internet. I am from the internet. I am in your cell phone.
And reliving the days of yore, Raina the Crit Chicken.
Still watching Grandma.
I mean, if you're in the internet, can you tell me how the Wi-Fi works?
It requires maple leaves.
Well, the internet works very well as long as you know what you're doing.
It also works very well if you don't know what you're doing.
It does.
Ta-da.
So, it's episode 68. But before we get into that, Amy has words.
I do, and they are very important words because 10% of all revenue generated, whether it's through subs, bits, donations, anything like that, goes to the Trevor Project. And the Trevor Project is a wonderful organization that our amazing mascot Ping has a little bit to say about.
More ping.
Hopefully.
Why is he not showing up?
Cool. All right.
Uh-oh.
I mean, sad
Well,
face.
here we go. I will take over for Ping tonight.
Hold on. Let's see if I can actually just trigger it myself. Let's see here.
Sleeping on the job. I see you, ping.
Yep. Thinking ping. Let's see here. Play.
The Trevor Project is
there
a
it is.
leading organization working to end LGBTQ youth suicide in the US and beyond. The non-profit operates several programs to help prevent and respond to the public health crisis of LGBTQ youth suicide, including 24/7 free crisis services, research, advocacy, education, and peer support.
Thank you, Ping. Perfect.
Just so everyone knows, we are an opinion show. They're mostly uninformed opinions. They don't represent anything involving companies, official policies, and everything else. So basically, don't sue us. You might get some gravel out of my pocket. We don't have
Pocket
any
sand.
money.
Pocket
Don't sue
sand.
us. It's a waste of your time.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
On with the show, episode 68. First, because it's been on the top of my list, because it should tickle Raina a little bit. And she had her hands on it for a little while. So, Beto Kaizen had a surprise release on Steam. Tell us about that, Crit.
Yeah, I mean, it has like its one first month perks going on. It's I think down 10%. So you can actually get two like 1 and 2, game 1 and 2 or whatever for less than Kingdom Hearts right now. But it has a massive storyline. It's kind of like a card-based game-ish. If you like Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that, you you throw your defenses and attacks out or whatever, and then you also take pictures of monsters that you can develop and sell for magnets and whatnot. So yeah, it's very grindy. It reminds me of Pokemon in a way too, because you have to look around uh certain rooms or whatever in order to find different cards and stuff like that and food so you don't die all the time. I
All
should
right, so I have 2 questions about the game.
yeah.
Number 1, what's the name again?
Uh
Beto Kaizen.
Beto
it was
Kaizen?
Baten Kaitos.
Baten Kaitos. Oh, yeah, oops. So,
The other question is there shinies?
Don't believe so.
God damn it.
You
But
know what I'm gonna ask when you say Pokemon-like game. I'm gonna throw it out there.
Yu-Gi-Oh like game. But Pokemon in the sense that you know how in the Pokemon games where you can go around finding random objects in like let's say boxes and whatnot? It feels like Game Boy when it comes to like, let me check inside of this. Oh look, I got a shish kebab.
Was it like Zelda running around smashing all the pots?
No.
Perfect. I'm glad I'm so
But
far off the base.
yeah, I dropped a link into chat there for you, Cajun.
I'm looking
Twitch
right
chat.
now.
Yep.
I like the characters. Mizuti's probably one of my favorite ones. Gabari's I guess his name isn't Gabari. But
There's, there's somebody with
that's what
butterfly wings. What is that?
I think her name is Shella.
Huh.
But it's
Yeah, there's
kind
a lot of
it's kinda like on the same vein of like a, Persona or, the dark version of Persona. I forgot the whole along the Tensei Kaisen or whatever you call it. She does a butterfly with it. She does like a Butterfree. I'm told.
yeah.
So it says
Doesn't say
month
much.
1 edition. Does that mean this is going to be episodic?
But it has been, I think, like there's 1 and 2 that's currently bound together, I guess, right
Mhm.
now. But it's like when I had it for the GameCube, it had 2 discs,
Mhm.
but that was only for the one game. And I think the gameplay was, if you're a completionist, is over like 100 hours of gameplay.
Um,
Well,
Sound like a light work when it comes to some of these games these days.
I
yep.
mean, it has a decent storyline. I'm not gonna lie, it has a decent storyline. The music is good too. Like,
Was that the picture
it's
you put on Twitter that had like the breakdown of how much time you spend in the game, including
yeah.
speed running?
And they also said like I'm wondering how bad I did when I was a kid though, because apparently, um, they said you have to constantly go to the flower to get back to the church to level up or something like that. And I don't remember how many times I actually went to the church to level up. It's been that long. Uh,
Well, dang.
yeah, but yeah, between I think when you get to the battle like Malpertio, Like when you get further into the game, the music gets like really, really, really heavy. And I'm just like, it goes from like this nice, light, pleasant music, and then boom,
Dun,
like,
dun, 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 dun.
yeah. I love it. I love it. It's so underrated and underappreciated. But for me, it was like a cult classic. It's kind of like Pulp Fiction of games.
Mm.
And I love to hear stories like that because I have a couple of games that half the people I talk to have never heard of before. But I
Well,
played those things until those discs broke. So I kind of appreciate like a cult classic favorite like that.
the thing is, like, I was a poor kid, right? I got my GameCube, you know, and my mom actually ended up finding this, she was like, "I went to the thrift store and they had this game. It has 2 discs." I'm like, "Okay, let's try it." And then I got hooked.
That's how it
Eh,
always happens. I think
just to test the waters, has anybody in here or on Twitch heard of the game called Jade Cocoon?
I've heard of Jade Empire. I was an old Bioware title, but not Jade Cocoon.
Exactly. Right on target with what I'm talking about. So I appreciate that. I give it the Nordic gold star. I am definitely gonna look into it. I like it. Picasso.
Cool.
But
So
no, I haven't played Chain of Memories. I've played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I didn't get around to 3.
I
'Cause
was
I
gonna
ended up
ask if you grab the bundle or not.
not yet, not yet. I know it's like for 60, what is it, $66 or something like that, but I was like, "No, I'll just get the 1 and 2 of Baten Kaitos for like $40 because that's better in my price range, and I'm a broke bitch right now, so." Gave $600 to my mom.
I think just because they put it out on Steam is already amazing, but it used to just be locked behind PlayStation's vaults. Like they've been asking for that to be released, so it's one of the few that escaped, unlike Bloodborne.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
I'm definitely gonna be playing Kingdom Hearts at some point, but it's just like I have to prioritize certain things,
oh yeah,
like my health, for instance.
oh
Oh, for
health is
sure.
important.
Health is
Yeah,
number one.
but I saw your announcement on Twitter. You are no longer classified as obese, which
Let's
is nice.
Yeah.
go. Ba 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 ba
Hell
ba ba ba
yeah.
ba.
Yeah, 29.99. And
Girl,
y yeah.
get it, get it, get it.
Yep, you're there. So there it is.
But
So
before I'm gonna interject, like on the same topic of like things that have been behind a wall forever and it no longer is.
mhm.
Um, the fighting game community is eating good this week because of Nintendo, and I cannot believe those words actually left my mouth.
Whoa, what?
There's a
Are you okay?
right, like I thought it was a fever dream when I saw the announcement. I really did, and so did everybody else who saw the announcement. There is rewind the clock back to the '90s, right when we're starting
Um,
to get into the era where comic book movies are starting to come into play, like the Hulk, the Captain America, the Iron Man, like the first ones starting to just cusp, like coming into the mainframe. The comic book industry was just piss. It was terrible. Um, the amount of work going into a comic didn't justify the amount of money you would buy for the comic, and that's just how it was back then. Like I think Sony bought the right to Spider-Man to make movies for Spider-Man for 15K. That's how bad it was during that time frame. But in that same vein, there was a group of games coming out on the PlayStation, PlayStation 2 called Marvel vs. Capcom. It was a massive cult hit that allowed you to take a whole bunch of characters from Marvel's roster and put up against a whole bunch of people from Capcom's roster, ranging from Ryu to Akuma to even Mega Man and Roll. And back on the other side, Spider Man and Thanos. Everybody got to have a good old time pitting their dream matches against one another. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 come out around that same era, and it becomes easily the most purchased fighting game and the most downloaded digital fighting game of the era, which was unheard of because back then, like digital downloads for games was just starting to become a thing, and it was just everybody wanted to get their hands on it. The last time it was available to be purchased and or downloaded to play, I believe, was either the end of the Xbox era or the beginning of the Xbox 360 era. That was the last time you could get a digital or physical copy of the game. Nintendo decided it was time to unleash the floodgates. And this past Monday, Tuesday, whichever day they had their Nintendo Direct, they announced a one second. Sorry. They announced a collection of a whole bunch of old Capcom fighting games, including Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
No.
The first time it's been, like I said, available since the 1990s and to the early 2000s, and everybody in the fighting game community went ballistic. If you guys have a chance, I'll go get the link. You have to see the man himself, Maximilian Dude, react, because he's the one that started a movement 5-10 years ago called Free Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because it's been locked behind regulations and, of course, royalties and licensure and all that, because the moment the mouse got a hold of Marvel, things got really difficult to make games for because of that. Looking at you, Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, that was just a travesty of a game. It was crazy. It's crazy that they're actually allowing all of this to come back. And Nintendo, Mario was the one to pave the way and made a deal with the mouse somehow to get it released. It's going to be released for this for Steam, PS4, and the Switch. But it was announced at Nintendo Direct, which is absolutely freaking amazing. Like I said, I'm gonna go get that link for that video for y'all to watch later. But people are losing their godforsaken mind that this game is coming out in later in the year.
Nice. That sounds like something worth we're looking into. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that link and video.
I'm getting it right now.
All right, just drop it into the Twitch chat here, and I'll pick it up and I'll watch it here later. But other than that, not much in the gaming space this week, unless you like Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Just everything is about a walkthrough for either pre-DLC or post-DLC, because it's probably one of the most highly anticipated DLCs. And of course, FromSoft doesn't disappoint. I went ahead and I took a look at Iron Pineapple's take on it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, it's everything you could ever want and more." Yeah. If you came here to hear me say it's good, I'm saying it's good right now. Anything else is just fluff. And that was like right at the beginning of his video. So just to give you an idea, I don't find interest in like bookmarking any of that, because not everybody is a Souls-like fan. I am, but even still, I
am.
also don't want spoilers too. I was already talking with Cajun earlier about moving the living room Xbox into the office, and my good buddy, he said, instead of that, because the moment you move it, the kids want to play in the living room. Just get yourself a Series S and set it in the office. And I'm like, well, that could be it. But we're also on the cusp of a new console generation as well. So,
dude, you saw that? Freaking Sony's announcing PS6. Really?
What?
Yeah, didn't they just do PS4 at PS5?
Yeah, I just got the PS5.
Yeah, I remember.
That's what I'm saying. Like people are still fighting to get a PS5, and you're gonna announce PS6. Meanwhile,
Gotta make that money.
Nintendo's
So-
out here still outselling y'all with their freaking iPad on a couple of consoles.
Did you hear what Sony wanted to do?
No, let's hear about it.
Today?
And this plays into their whole make Helldivers require you to have a PlayStation account. Fuck you, by the way, Sony.
Mm-hmm.
You can go fuck your hat and die in a fire. Anyways,
Sorry, Snowy.
yep, Snowy sucks.
Snowy,
They're the
Snowy.
worst. Snowy. Snowy is because of one of the Steam reviews. The person misspelled Sony and mistyped it. They spelled it Snowy, and it's like one of the highest rated reviews for the Helldivers 2, and it basically says the automatons took over Sony HQ or Snowy HQ. It's amazing. But anyways,
Awesome.
so Sony has this weird thing they think they're going to be able to get away with. And that is, the plan is to release a game to PC, make you make a PlayStation account, and then for all the sequel games to that series, you must play it on console because there can be console exclusives. So if we take Helldivers 2, it would be Helldivers 2 on PC, forcing you to get a PlayStation account so that they can, have it absconded with by the numerous hacks they get hit with every year. And Helldivers 3, if that were to come to pass, would be a PlayStation only game. So that means any fun you had with friends on PC, you can't do that anymore because now you have to go buy a console to play with your friends. Now, can you imagine Baldur's Gate 3? Like the multiplayer? Oh, great, cool. You've had a lot of fun playing on PC with your friends. Now, for Baldur's Gate 4, you're going to play it on console only. That
I'm
is
sorry.
the dumbest shit ever.
I'm sorry. We have Kingdom Hearts 1 through 50 on Steam now.
Yep.
How are we still doing console exclusivity in 2024, man?
That kind of leads into the
Because
next topic I have here of is console gaming dying? But yeah, let's keep going. Go for it.
it's entirely that Sony wants all your money and they will stop at nothing to get it. And they're in the group of people who are insanely pissy at Steam for not actually understanding how to make a good product. Well, that's the thing. Like Steam, as much flack as it gets for the 30%, it is a global distribution platform. It has advertising for your game on the front page. Like it is so overpowered for consumers. And apparently on the Epic Game Store, you can't, trash talk some games. Some games the review comments are turned off. Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
Valve.
my game.
Yep.
They dropped it for the Steam Summer Sale for Bandai and Namco, and they apparently have Tales of Vesperia
Cool.
and Zestiria.
Yeah.
Interesting. And yeah, Zestiria and Vesperia are 80 to 90% off, so $249.99, $50 games for $9 and $4 respectively.
It's just astounding. That's kind of a cool price point. But it's astounding how single-minded Sony has become in that they don't understand their own consumer base. They don't understand what their own players want, and they're trying to do the whole "you're gonna like it because I tell you you're gonna like it."
It's sad when Nintendo's business model is making more sense than Sony's.
Yeah, and both of them suck balls as far as
Yeah, but Sony's sucking on 2 and Nintendo's only sucking on 1 currently.
this is true. This is very true. But yeah, to see stuff like this, it's astounding to understand that, or to even like imagine that companies would behave this way these days. But apparently, it's really what they want to do. They just want to act like assholes and treat their customers like incompetent morons.
Yep.
Which, if you ask me, that's a great recipe to not have customers. And this whole making console exclusives after you've published a game on PC to force them to buy a console, I don't think they understand what they're going to do. And I think the broader PC market, yeah, you're going to get some people who do it because they're really going to enjoy the game. They're going to enjoy that experience and they're going to want to continue to share it with their friends. But I think the broader community is going to look at that and just say, you know what? Don't care about this game anymore. Because
There's one or
it's,
two things are going to happen. One, they're not even just they're going to talk with their wallet and not buy it.
Yep.
Or two, they're going to be like Raina earlier and start singing some sea shanties,
I
and
mean,
we're going to go put on our pirate cap and be like, "Hey-oh."
and keep in mind, if you're already in the Sony ecosystem, you're there. But I think back to like the PlayStation 6 announcement. I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't even keep up with it because I'm not a PlayStation fanboy. But that's just the level of ridiculousness is they're trying to iPhone it.
Yeah.
I'll wait for PlayStation 10 or something. I think I'm done with my PlayStations for the decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up getting a PlayStation 4 and because it came with like the major hits that I cared about and I couldn't get anywhere else, and now I can get it everywhere else, which was Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War and The Last of Us. And you can get all those on Steam now. So, like, I have no desire to like ever get their hardware. And what's interesting is that consoles are actually developed, produced, and sold at a loss because they make money off the licensing. So they want to get that's why you have console exclusive titles and things like that, because it's the licensing that brings in all the money for the hardware manufacturer, right? So it takes out a lot of the details, but you get a lot of consistent hardware configurations to program for, which means you can also like super high tweak shaders and stuff to run on the hardware that it's intended for. But unlike PC, because PC has like a countless amount of configurations from all the hardware, you can't account for them all. So they're leveraging that type of thing in order to make it happen. But even still, like I can't bring myself to get another Sony hardware product, and that's
Nope.
just like I have a hard time with justifying that getting another Xbox console. But the other part about that is that there's been efforts put into like, yeah, you can play it on PC, you can play it on Xbox, you can play it on your phone, you can play it on your toaster, you can play it on your fridge, you can play it wherever you want, right? As long I mean, honestly, I think Game Pass has changed the game as far as like where you can actually play all of these games. Period. Then they even moved to Sony and Nintendo. I think there's even a class of Game Pass for Nintendo, isn't there, Cajun?
Yeah, they're slowly starting to implement it with like the older generations. You have like the Game Boy,
Mhm.
you have the Game Boy Color, you have the Super Nintendo, you have the N64, where they have a bunch of ROMs installed to their system to where you can play them digitally. But of course, their library is still very, very minuscule in terms of what you can actually access, and still salty. Not like all the old
Kind of like
Pokemon games
Sega
are still,
Genesis.
yeah. So they're slowly catching on, and by slowly I mean like back in 2002, just realizing that where things are going, catching on. They're like the Internet Explorer of the console wars right now.
And that's the other
Oof.
part about it too. Like, does it really need to be a console war? There's so many options out there right now as far as like how you can play your games. Steam being one of the most prolific. Of course, we just got finished talking about them, but I mean, do you really need the hardware? They're already allowing you to rent space in the cloud that offloads all the GPU and CPU handling, and you can just stream it in. Mind you, it's not great for Twitch gaming like Call of Duty or anything like that, where you have to be
Are you talking like what is it? Nvidia's streaming service that they shut down?
NVIDIA streaming. A lot of them is shut down. Honestly, if you ask me, I think the only reason why Xbox console streaming to your computer and mobile phones even work and is still thriving at this particular moment is because it's bundled with Game Pass. If it wasn't for Game Pass, it wouldn't exist. But as a pure, that's why Stadia is gone, right? Stadia, it was a pure online service. You couldn't do anything else. There was no transferability. Luckily, a lot of the developers that had games on Stadia allowed you to transfer to Steam and gave you keys and all kinds of other stuff. But it was a straight streaming service. It wasn't tied to anything else. It wasn't tied to a subscription or anything like that. That's just what it was. I think the closest that you can get potentially is like in-home streaming over your Wi-Fi network, but even still, some amount of latency is involved in that. I tried that out with Steam Link, and I've seen it done with PlayStation. They have a console to other device streaming service that you can play with. But even still, is a console even needed anymore? If you ask me, no. I think consoles at this particular point, and I mean all of them, are a waste of plastic and a way to segregate the gaming community. Period.
But
So I'm
I'm gonna
going
be
to
I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I think me and I'm on the
yeah.
same wavelength there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm about to simp for a hardware company.
Go
Brace
for it.
yourself.
All right. As long as it's not Ouya, you'll be fine.
you
Go
first.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say physical copies are starting to slowly become in huge demand after big AAA companies are starting to tell their consumers just because you buy something doesn't mean you own it.
Looking at you, Ubisoft. I hope you don't like owning your games, or I hope you don't like people paying for them because they're gonna start pirating that shit.
I'm gonna get a T-shirt because I saw it on Twitter. It said, "If buying games not owning them, pirating is not stealing." Boom.
Exactly.
We do not support or endorse pirating on this podcast. It was a joke for legal purposes only.
If you talk to
For
Jim
legal
Stephanie
purposes only.
Sterling, Jim Stephanie
Yeah.
Sterling will tell you it is morally okay to pirate software from AAA companies. I don't know what
Well,
to say about that, but
it's funny because so everything's going as a service, and I absolutely hate it. We have call centers as a service, we have server farms or like data centers as a service, we have software as a service, we have games as a service, which is any live service game, including
Gas.
WoW. Yep, it's a gas. WoW is a gas. We have so many things that are done as a service these days. People are just getting sick of it. But as far as console goes, I don't think it's going to go away easily. And if you look at the price of a console versus the price of a PC, it's always going to be cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Or almost always it's going to be cheaper to buy a console. And when you look in countries that don't have access to high-end PC imports or whatever, or the median income is so low that buying a PC or a high-end PC is just not obtainable, but a console is, I can see console sales either staying the same or increasing in those regions while they're diminishing in other regions where, getting a high-end PC is no longer, an arm, leg, and your firstborn child type costs.
Oh yeah, the cost of PC gaming is very prohibitive. You can get a base PC gaming rig, but it's kind of a
Oh,
joke.
fuck hiccups. Sorry, continue. I'm having hiccups here.
Yeah. No worries. You
Yeah,
can
Crit, go ahead. Finish your statement because Crit has something to say.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Crit.
I'm gonna let you finish. I just wanted to find a area to drop my bomb on NCSoft and Ubisoft because my darling barcode brought up Ubisoft and it pretty much unleashed repressed angry memories.
Do it.
Yeah, no.
Go
no.
for
Alright.
it.
NCSoft, I don't know why, don't know how, but when it comes to having account management, I was a settler Vion when the game first came out, and I was invested in being a clerk, and then you lost my information. You guys can eat a dick. Giant, huge, flaccid, for all that matters, dick.
Yeah.
Whole bag of them.
Yep. There's two games that I played, and they ended up being bought by NCSoft, and I stopped playing them. One was City of Heroes, which was a fantastic game for the time, and the other one was Perfect World. I played Perfect World. I think it was one of the first few cookie cutter, like multi currency, massively multiplayer games you could play for free. Right.
I remember hearing about that game.
Yep. Perfect World tried to release another game that was kind of another cookie cutter action RPG, and it was. That's also another topic of discussion tonight too. But yeah, no, like I totally get the whole NCSoft losing stuff, and quite frankly, the only thing they really had going for them that was carrying them was Lineage and Lineage 2. That was it. They don't really have much else.
Oh my gosh, Lineage 2. That's a core memory unlocked. Oh my gosh.
No, but I was a big console gamer before getting into computers. I mean, I played a little bit of computers back when I was a kid, but that was all for Mavis speak and typing tutor and stuff like that. Hee hee hee. But that was the whole extent of it, and then playing around on AOL. I didn't know anything about video games except for like what is it, Newgrounds or whatever. But
That
Woo.
Newgrounds had some bangers though.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
absolutely. Shout out to
Absolutely.
Newgrounds. And shout out to Madness. I love that series.
I think Edmund
Oh, dude,
McMillan's
the
first
Madness
library
series
was
is
on
amazing.
Newgrounds.
but yeah, after I got to playing World of Warcraft, that was it for console. I am like even now I have the Xbox X and the freaking PlayStation 5, and I'm just like, do I want to resub to WoW? And I'm like, no, you have work to do. I'm like, oh,
Adulting.
Must adult.
Stupid adulting.
because
If
I
you can
haven't.
avoid it, don't ever adult in your life.
If
See,
I
I
could,
haven't.
Agreed.
I've had the PlayStation and the Xbox X for God knows how long, probably like a year now.
Mhm.
And the only one who's been playing on it is my son. Yep. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
Oculus. Yep.
Well, in your defense, you were also working like 18 jobs.
Yee.
No, just one job now, but
When you got them,
uh,
you were working 18.
Oh, yeah.
no, but I'm working 6 days a week because they won't let me do 7 days a week.
God damn it.
How dare they?
They're like, no going over 60 hours. I'm like, but I still get my overtime, right?
But
They're
honest,
forcing me. they're forcing me to take 2 days off in July. And that's for the 4th of July. It's July because they said the building's going to be closed. And I was like, but my money.
That sounds like a Kingdom Hearts kind of day.
I can actually. I'm not gonna buy Kingdom Hearts. I'm probably gonna just not yet. I'm probably gonna play my Kaitos.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I will say this about PC gaming and over console gaming is the fact that you still get a wide array of games that from cutting edge to garbage that you can play just by adjusting settings, right? You could, like, for example, Witcher 3 for a while was a benchmark. When Crysis was in a lull, right? You set that on ultra, and if your machine ran at 60 frames a second, you were good to pretty much play anything. But even still, as hardware has gotten faster and things like that, it's not really that much of a difference. And that's just it. Even if something else cutting edge comes out, unless it absolutely requires some feature that's on a video card, most developers won't segregate or ostracize their player base based on a feature, and they'll include something else that will make it work. I know that there's a big push right now in the AI scene for automatic upscaling and all kinds of stuff. In this article that I read about, Is Console Gaming Dying? They were talking about, like, we touched on a lot of it, streaming services and how everything's distributed and where they make their money. One of the things that they said that really goes for consoles at this particular point is the fact that you can play it on an 80-inch 4K OLED monitor in your living room on your couch. And that's part of the reason why I even have a console. So if I want to play Sea of Thieves that's not in front of my desk, I can go kick back on the couch and I can go sail the seas. Right? Same thing with Elden Ring, considering their PC port of Elden Ring is kind of shite. I can't get it to run right. Other people are like, oh, it works fine for me. I'm like, not for me. Not at all. So it really just depends. And that's the other part about it, too, is console ports coming to PC don't have all the options that you need to, like, tone it down so that way you can make your experience tolerable. So, but, yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. Everything else this week has been kind of hit or miss. So I'm going to read off some titling here and see what we can make of it. We did talk about the 8-bit demake of Baldur's Gate. I don't know if you ever got a chance to look at that, Amy.
No, I didn't.
I was gonna say I was dying to hear what he had to say about it too. No.
But an 8-bit game, regardless, that's pretty slick. If you're gonna take something in wait, what? I just pulled your article.
Square.
Wait,
I know. I just pulled it up
They're
too.
gonna run it on a TRS 80?
Yes.
What? Holy shit! So. For those of you who don't understand what a TRS 80 is, those were Tandies, weren't they?
I think so. Yeah, I think I even had one.
Yeah, that is when you had a. So there's this thing, kids. It's small plastic and has 2 holes, one on either side of, spread out, probably about a couple inches apart. It's got like this little tape in the middle that winds on spools. It's called a cassette. You've probably never heard of one. Fucking kids. Anyways, yeah, it's a Tandy Radio Shack. Holy shit, yeah, the TRS-80. So the TRS-80 is back in a day when the little save icon was actually a floppy disk, but before those even, you actually had to use an audio cassette. Look, it's really just an audio cassette, and an audio cassette player to interface with the PC and record your program or whatever you were making onto this audio cassette. And you really had to pay attention to your index numbers on the cassettes because you would basically start the recording, hit save on the computer, and it would transfer to the audio cassette. Then you'd wait a couple revolutions on the counter, and then you'd stop it. So, you made sure you actually saved the entire file. But then on your little index card that comes with the audio cassette, you'd have to write down like this file is between this number, and then this file is between this number and this number. And then you'd also have to, spool it ahead a couple revolutions on the counter before you would start saving your next one, just to make sure you had enough space between files.
Imagine somebody recorded their mixtape on that.
Oh my god, that would sound hilarious. I never personally worked with them live because the ones I saw were always just not serviceable and just busted. But I would have loved to be able to hear what a program sounds like. playing through like an actual like stereo system.
That's not a
That's
CD?
cool.
Because you could totally do that. You can do it with AOL discs. It'll
But
read.
it probably sound like an AOL login sound.
True. So one of my favorite things years ago, back in the 80s, was watching ads when when they would say, you can buy whatever this, music compilation was on 4 audio cassettes, 2 LPs, or 1 CD. It's like, Jesus Christ. Man, crossover decades are hilarious.
No doubt.
Wow.
But
That's
anyways,
what I
going
call
back to
Music
this thing,
99.
getting it to run on a TRS-80, holy shit. And if you don't know, that has a whopping 2.4 megahertz processor that's 8-bit, and it usually has between 1 and 4 kilobytes of RAM. More often than not, I think the most you would get is 2, and then you'd have to physically install the next bank of them. But that shit was expensive.
Oh, yeah. It was very prohibitive. Like, there was a time when computers cost as much as a vehicle.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
And there was a time when they filled entire floors of a building.
Indeed.
That is so cool. Holy
Well,
crap.
in our segment now known as Know You, somebody had entered an image into an AI art contest, and they were disqualified because it was a real photograph.
Oh, I saw that. That made me laugh.
It's an AI generate? No, because I put real effort into it.
They took a picture of a flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you scare off the AI boys? Give them a pencil.
Oh,
AI has been the talk of the last few years, and it's getting smarter and dumber at the same time. And unfortunately, the more these models are trained, the more average it's going to be, and you're just going to get mediocre responses. And it's kind of coming into the same way the game industry is treating game development, because making a game is very, very, very cost prohibitive. Period. It's super
yes.
expensive. At least for, like all the doodads and whatnot. Like I said, an indie dev can go and do all this other stuff, but it still costs, for an individual person quite a bit between commissioning music and art if you don't do art by yourself and things like that. Like it's insane. But yeah, it's I can see I don't know how this is actually going to turn out. I know that right now the companies are trying to push it out like it's the next starship computer, like in Star Trek. Computer, bring me my wine, or whatever.
Engage.
Yeah, engage, or it's, captain's log. It doesn't really matter. It's meant to like handle all the administrative stuff for you, so you continue on throughout your day. And some of them actually do a really good job at it, and other ones are just like, right? Yeah, so it's kind of like combining intelligence with voice assistants, and voice assistants are already kind of garbage. Have you ever tried to tell Alexa to do something and she tries to play something you didn't want?
Holy crap, is Alexa inaccurate on so many things. It's frustrating.
Yep. That's true with all the voice assistants. Siri, Cortana, what's the other one? Google. Google
Well,
is...
I love how I'm gonna have to whisper this because Alexa's probably gonna be listening on it too. But I like how like Alexa activates when that one that one movie for South Park comes on.
Oh, that one episode?
Yeah,
Dude.
that was awkward.
Hey, took
And
our
it-
germs.
They took your germs. They
No,
took your germs.
no, but they literally activated. They said it loud and clear enough that in South Park they activated Alexa.
That's funny.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Pushing.
I got a roundabout little random tidbit idea to throw on to the topics here.
Go for it.
It was I actually saw it multiple times on Twitter. I had to look it up to make sure the legitimacy of it, of course. But apparently, the U.S. government is suing Adobe.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Or-
FTC is suing Adobe because of their predatory everything. Their whole existence is predatory.
Predatory everything.
Let's
Yes.
talk about the top three. The top three reasons. Number one, them promoting AI everything within their system. Number two, throwing out that new terms of service agreement where you had to sign it in order for them to have access to all the stuff you save, and they can use it any way they wanted. That was number two. And number three is the one I think they're getting sued for is their subscription policies about how it's deceiving for subscriptions that are too hard to cancel and hidden subscription early cancellation fees,
Oh
which
yeah.
I can
Yes.
attest to because I was going to cancel all of my Adobe stuff because of everything that's going down, and they wanted to charge me $100 to cancel early.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. You have to.
So
So you got two choices. You could pay $80+ a month for the entire suite, or you can commit to a year and a half and pay $60 a month. So you save $20 a month, and that's fine. So if you terminate that, it's almost like signing up for a gym membership.
yeah,
Anybody remember
there are
Bailey's or Bally's?
Yep.
yeah, Bally's Total Gym or Bailey's Total Gym. Yeah, it's such a joke because they've been. It's nice to see now that someone's taking that bullshit seriously, but they've been getting away with stuff like that for years, and nobody had the the intestinal
The
fortitude
CUSPA.
to challenge them on it. So it's finally good to see that. I know when I canceled my Adobe Reader subscription or Adobe Acrobat subscription, I ended up getting charged like $200 just to cancel. And it's like, that's predatory. And I had to jump through so many hoops. I never had to talk to customer service, thankfully. But finding and following the cancellation path, it's not as simple as logging into your account, going to a subscription page, managing the subscription, and canceling the subscription. It's
Nope.
not that simple. It was like, go here, and then go here, and then answer this questionnaire. And then, to make matters worse, holy fuck, it kept on having windows of like, essentially saying, are you sure you really want to cancel? We're really sorry you want to go. Are you really sure you want to cancel? But the yes and no buttons would swap sides.
That's garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not amused seeing that. I was like, what the hell? Why is the no right where I'm about to click? Because at one point I ended up clicking no and it kicked me right out of the cancellation. I'm like, and I said to myself, what the fuck just happened? I'm trying to cancel it. Why am I back at my account page? So then I went back to the whole thing and then I noticed that the yes and no buttons had swapped. I was like, and I was just so done with it. It's beyond garbage. And it's really telling that they treat their customers so poorly and think so little of them that that's the default thing to do is just treat you like shit.
It's gotten to the point where I'm going to go find it and also send it to you guys. Somebody came up with a laundry list of alternatives for every single one
Yes.
of Adobe's programs, from Photoshop to After Effects to Premiere, that you can use instead of using
Oh yeah,
Adobe, and half of
Yep.
them are open source.
that chart
Yep.
has been around forever. Some of them are great,
Yes.
some of them are not. I know that like you could use DaVinci Resolve. I tried using that, but I ended up not doing that because the formats I was getting off of XSplit at that particular point weren't loading into it, and it was being stupid, and I hated it.
Well, I found this one called Olive. I'm going to be starting to play with it here pretty soon. On top of me practicing Blender, like I'm stacking on top on stacks on stacks on stacks of things for me to try.
Oh yeah, content creation, you'll never run out of tools to learn and
That's
fail at.
it.
So, pushing this a little bit forward, I got two more things to hit on real quick. Apparently, TikTok released an AI tool that allows you to have an avatar talk stuff. And can you guess what the community has done?
Made it say all sorts of horrendously racist shit.
Well,
Probably.
just for the title of the article, TikTok's AI tool accidentally let you put Hitler's words in a paid actor's mouth.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
Yep. In fact, if you go to the article, here, I'll drop it into our chat here. If you go to the article, there's a tweet that that has a AI actor, and he says some bullshit, and it's kind of hilarious and kind of sad at the same time. It's just like, never trust the public to do the things, because if you trust the public to do the things, they're gonna do the things. That's why Tay doesn't exist, or any of the other artificial intelligent other things that you can interact with online. They just don't exist. I think the internet has successfully turned um, digital personalities into racist bigots, which is hilarious. But yeah, here, give that a look at. Let's see here. This particular tweet from John Sarlin, and he tweets, see here, TikTok placed 0 content restrictions on the app. Any words we put in created video with a peppy stock AI avatar reciting them. That included the 14 words. An excerpt from Mein Kampf, Osama bin Laden's letter to America, a video telling people to drink bleach from a real-life doctor, a,
Oh no.
a video telling people to vote on the wrong day. Like,
Yeah,
Dear
misinformation is going to be a huge thing, but I don't like AI, and this is just reinforcing why I do not like it.
yep. And the last one before we step into our round table, Elon Musk has another secret child with an exec at his brain implant company. Apparently, this guy's up to like 12 kids. I did not know that.
Oh no, say it ain't
Yeah,
so. There's no way this can be true. Must be false information.
you know what? The last time someone called him out on having so many kids, he said one of the most horrendously racist things possible, and I was not shocked. But yeah, I'll talk about it offline because it's not for this podcast. But yeah, he
Mhm.
had a very very racist excuse for it, and it's just like, oh my god, why?
Yep. So he had a child with Neuralink director Siobhan Zealous. He already has twins with Zillis. See here. Oh, so that's the third child with Zillis. Okay. And there is has what? 3 children with Leanne Grimes, and 6 children from a previous relationship, and it's all like pointing to his workplace, his hostile workplace environments and whatnot. Right. Just kind of walks in, spreads inappropriate memes and sexual commentary and things like that. So
Yeah. He's
yeah.
a serial sexual harasser.
Yep. So
He's
And douchebag.
yeah, absolutely.
all right. Well, speaking of douchebags, let's get into our round table. Cajun, what do we? Tell us what's going on with you and what we're doing this week.
Well, I'm gonna continue my adventures in Shuckle Land. I am desperate to get the stupid shiny in Sword and Shield. I've been actually enjoying shiny hunting in Sword and Shield. I posted the pictures on both Twitter and in the Discord of the 2 that I got yesterday, just randomly, and it was fun. It was fun hunting them. Other than like I get bored with Scarlet and Violet for some reason, but when I do it in Sword and Shield, it's actually like thrilling. I can't explain it. So I'm going to continue on with my ventures. I'm going to be getting Sea of Thieves up and running both on my machine and on the man's machine because he has been asking, Dad, when are we going to go play the pirate game with Lumi again? So
Oh, I
yeah, you
got the
got him
pirate game
hooked,
working.
huh?
I got the pirate game working
Oh, we
apparently.
can bring Amy on
Yeah,
on board with us. Woo! Watch out now.
Yep.
I'm gonna have
Get him his captain's ship so he can have the USS or the not USS, maybe CSS. No, what are Canadian ships called?
His or Her Majesty's Canadian Ship HMCS.
Okay, there. His or Her Majesty's
His
Canadian
Majesty's
ship, barcode
barcode.
1 or whatever. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. We got to get him his
It's
captain's
probably
ship.
gonna be the HMCS Geneva violation or Geneva suggestion.
Mhm.
Suggestion. I like that.
Typically,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was say typically when I'm playing IME, I normally stream to our channel unless I'm working with Chad a Cat Bat, then I'm doing stuff in his guild. But yeah, so if you ever want to like hop in and go pirate, be more than happy to sail you around the seas and show you what's up and do all the things.
Yo ho.
Anyway, Cajun, go ahead.
But yeah, that's the gist of it. In between that, offline, I'm learning how to play around with the program Blender to make some 3D. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, 3D avatars. I'm desperate to try to see if I can make a VTuber in Blender. I just want to do it just to see if I can. And so far, I've made a body and it looks human-like, so we're on the right track. So once we get past that, we're in good shape. And then I
Yeah.
guess I can make the other announcement. Um, I you've probably been hearing random noises and random voices in the background here. I've officially moved in with my mother because the Nordic family is planning on moving. We haven't decided where yet, but we moved out of our house. It's on the market right now, and we're
Ooh, fancy.
we're paying off all of our debt. That way, we have a nice war chest, and then we're like, all right, let's pick a place and let's get out of Louisiana. So that's what we're doing right now probably for the next year and some change. We're going to be here with her. So if you see me on stream and you see a random 7-foot giant walking around, that's my brother. If you see a shorter lady walking around, that's my mom. So just to give y'all a heads up, that's what's going down in North. And of course, Panda. You heard her screaming back there. So
But did she
yeah,
meow at you? That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's my life. So yes, we're moving
Nice
up
to
and
know I'm
out.
not the only one who has a spouse that meows.
It's either meow or mar, depends on how you look at it, because we found out that pandas go "Meow" when they make that noise, and that's been our little couple noise. But every now and then she will meow because she likes cats. So, oh
No.
God, what have we started? Why are you laughing?
1,000 messages on Discord of meow.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture. Meow, 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 meow.
It's literally
Awesome.
even my collar says meow.
Yes, it
And I
does.
saw you've been wanting to get the cat ears and collar to wear to work as well. I am all for that.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm committed to the act now. I even have Chat Cat rooting me on.
Nice.
Woo!
Well,
Well, I have Chat Cat and the plushie, but
what else can we root you on, Crit? What are you doing for the next week?
fasting. Fasting, 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 fasting,
I don't think you can
fasting.
get any faster, Crit. You're already pretty quick.
No.
Heyo, gotta go fast.
Yes, slimming down at the speed of sound.
Hmm. Yeah, good job indeed.
Oh no.
Cool. All right. So Crit will be working on personal health and whatnot. I'm still wondering when you're actually going to like produce like a health blog of all the stuff that you're doing, unless you feel it's not worth that.
Ugh. I probably will when I figure out what's going on, like, cause it's every body is different in terms of it. Like, my mom's trying
Everybody.
to no, no, we're
Sorry,
not going into
sorry.
boy bands.
Hey, y'all saw Homeboy got arrested for DUI, huh?
Oh yeah,
Bucko.
I just got yelled at by the
and he
music. That
was
was
still
Backstreet
performing
Boys.
all freaking tipsy in sync.
He's such a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. Okay, well, cool. Well, Crit's being healthy. And what's Amy doing? We already heard he has the pirate game ready to go. So, what else is Amy doing?
Trying to probably figure out what the hell's going on with my system. Probably reinstall it, but also try to expand my colony in RimWorld, although I think I'm going to restart it. I have some really cool mods that I've been in touch with the mod author to get some advice on a couple things here and there. And I started my run with what I wanted the main character to be because I have it set up as a lone survivor. But I forgot that the game sends raids based on the value of your colony and what modifications or like what is it prosthetics you have installed in a pawn increases the value of your colony, which I think is kind of dumb. So one person against a rate of like 35 people from one group and another 15 or 20 from another group, that's overwhelming and you can't win that easily. So I need to redo the colony, I think, at this point. I'm not happy with it. So RimWorld it is, and more war crimes.
All right.
And I did yeah, I did harvest a whole bunch of lungs because I needed some quick cash and I also needed some organic tea. So I grabbed some
Organic
prisoners
tea.
organ ick. I grabbed some prisoners, took out their hearts so I could make some tea, sold off their kidneys and lungs for profit, and my god, I love it. Cake, tea, and war crimes is probably my favorite mod.
I was gonna say that needs to be the name of your ship.
Well, I'm not British and I'm not huge on tea, but it's probably gonna be the HMCS war crime.
Hmm. As long as you're not going to like the Penetrator or something like that. So
That's lame.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's been done.
I've named all my ships after like nerdy things. Like I've got Trace Route Bad Horse or Bad Dot Horse. I've
damn
got Fiddler Trace. I've got Drop Packets, which is my sloop. I've
God
got.
Didn't I name mine the Shiny Hunter?
I think so. I can't remember. We haven't sailed on your ship yet, so
Fair. It's a busted joint right now. We're gonna get it there.
yes, that's fine. That's fine. We can get you some achievements on it.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, but yep, there we go. There's lots of RimWorld with Imy, so be ready for his updates for that.
All right, Lumi, on my end, I've told what we're doing. What are we doing on your end?
Well, I'll be hanging out with you. I will probably likely be playing Sea of Thieves one night. I have this last week. I've pulled up VS Code and used the extension for Live Server to start web programming, but I'm doing it in an interesting way. I'm doing it with PyScript, so you're going to see a lot of Python programming to develop web apps, which is kind of neat. And so I'm just kind of playing around and seeing what does and doesn't work with the abstraction for the document object model. Nerd. So
Nerd.
yep, and I'm trying to update my blog. I did something with my adventures in PyScript, and before that, I started talking about how AI doesn't have an organization like PETA to protect it. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. So, yeah, that's it for me. I'll be coding and sailing and maybe some more Crypt of the Necrodancer. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun watching you play that game, especially all the dragons that decided to come out and say, "Hey, how you doing, Lumi?"
Oh yeah, no, that takes some real patience, and my controller wasn't timing right, and neither was my my keyboard. And I know I'm on time because I'm kind of a musician. Kind of. I don't actually play music, but I'm very good at keeping time because that's one of the practice things that you have to do is keep time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, we've been going for 3 weeks. Sorry about that. We'll try to do better, and we'll get that arranged.
I ate the internet. It's all my fault.
That's
it was
right.
Tasty.
It was tasty.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
Yeah, copyright strike. Awesome. So,
Hey, that's on your soundboard, sir.
I know. I will take that one on the nose. Anyway, that's it.
My dick in a box.
Speaking of Dick in the Box, our funny number episode, number 69, is coming up next week.
Yeah.
So I'm giving all three of
Podcast.
you permission to be as lewd and innuendo-ish as you want to be on that episode.
Noise.
We
Not-
gonna
not-
be horny on me.
Not
Well,
that you need my
everything
permission, but
Now it's just being extra encouraged.
there we go. On
God damn it.
that note, that's it. So that's it for 68. We'll catch you again next week for 69. Don't forget, we're on Spotify if you missed any episodes. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/UDP broadcast. And yeah, if you want to see our news bot in action, where we actually pull our information from, you can go to discord.gg/the UDP broadcast. You can join our wonderful community of us and a bunch of our friends. So that's it.
No!
Yeah.
Get out of here. Go away. Go have a good night.
Son, where'd you find this?
Goodbye,
You will take care
everyone.
of yourself.
Omega, good job.